Well, good morning, everybody. We are leaving, having breakfast with Glenda. She's doing really good, by the way. I'm doing well, but it is a Thursday. We decided to move breakfast because I was fasting. I ended up doing a 100-hour fast this last weekend. And I will say that it went really well. It wasn't terrible. I enjoyed it and I felt good. So that's the biggest thing. It wasn't hard at all. I had a good time, actually. This fast was pretty great. Even mentally, I was on it. So it is warmed up in Tucson, let me tell you. I think we hit 99 or something like that the other day. I was not outside because you guys know that I do not do well outside. But I did take Charlie to school the other morning, and I'll have to tell you, I picked him up, and instead of walking, he wanted to go in the car, which is fine. But we ended up going to the car wash right before going to take him to daycare, and the car wash broke down while we were in it. So if anybody, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but like I always get really nervous about the car wash. I don't know why. I think that my windshield is not going to hold tight, and so I have this fear that my windshield is going to break when all of those rollers and power wash stuff is happening. And then also, there's a mosquito in here. Also, let's see if I got it. Okay. And then especially the blow drying part, like that to me is really nerve-wracking, and Charlie always looks a little bit scared too. Plus trying to line up your tire with the track. So we got rinsed off, and then we got soaped up, and we were headed to the scrubby things, and they were scrubbing, and then they all stopped, and it was really weird in the tunnel. And then the girl comes out and she starts walking around, and then the track starts going again because it had stopped. And then she came back out and she's like, "I'm sorry, our track just broke, so we can't continue the car wash." So I had to drive over the track humps that keep your car in there to pull it along since you're in neutral. And so it's really weird to drive over those humps and to get through the tunnel. I've never had that experience before, and it's kind of a fear that you break down in there. Like, how do you get out in case something weird happens? But they did good. The other cars all went out too, and there's probably like 5 of us stuck. So therefore, or thusly, my windshield is nice and clean, even though the rest of the car is kind of still dirty, but at least the screen, or the windshield is pretty clean. So, but that was my adventure the other day. Thankfully, it was in the morning and it wasn't too hot. So I dropped Charlie off at school and then went on to do my other things. Everything else in Tucson, or for me, have been well. But because of my fast, I think I said that's why we didn't do breakfast on Tuesday. Glenda was like, "Since you're fasting, let's just meet on Thursday." So now I feel like today is Tuesday and not Thursday. And I've got a ton of video editing to do. So many things that I gotta get going on. It's just been crazy. My life is just not in a still moment, which is great because I do appreciate being busy versus being stale and bored. Also, my internet bill tripled. Apparently, I was grandfathered into some really inexpensive internet cost of $30 a month. And I called to talk to somebody who worked at Cox to ask them, like, what in the world is going on? And so she was super nice, and she was just like, I don't know how you were able to get this promotion for so long, but therefore it's over. But I did explain to her that I am on dialysis. I did play my dialysis card. I am on disability. I Netflix and chill all day. That's my life, basically. So I really do enjoy, want, and need the internet. I know I could live without it if push came to shove, but it would be very, very hard for me. And I think then I would end up watching a lot of stuff on my phone, which to me is not enjoyable because it's small and in my hand. So anyways, she went ahead and got my bill down to like $60. So I think that it's always great to call and ask. And hopefully you find somebody who's kind and not rude, because that always changes the conversation, especially when they're rude. But she was not. She was really nice, and she wasn't like discouraging, I guess. So she really worked hard behind the scenes to try to figure out what she could do to help me out in my situation. So that was so nice. I was really glad about that. So other than that, I've just been at home. I've been doing some crocheting. I started a new diamond art project. Actually, I started 3 diamond art projects. The first one I completed pretty quickly because it was pretty simple, but the glue was just awful. Like, it just wasn't sticky enough. And when you try to line up things or make things look more sharp in a clear pattern, it just wouldn't stay there. It was like the glue was just bad. It was an old glue. So I ended up donating that piece, and then I started in on another piece that I liked that was flowers and like a teacup, which is very different for me. I normally don't like that kind of style, but it was going to be a gift for somebody. And then it was basically the same situation, only back when they first started making diamond art, because these again were old, and I got them off a marketplace from a lady who's like, she was obsessed, so she bought tons back in the day, and spent a pretty penny on them, but then she's clearing out stuff and she just didn't need them anymore, so that's why she sold them for so cheap. But back in the day, they did a lot more of the print behind the diamond art dots, so there's like kind of like gaps, which is fine, but again, because of the glue situation, it just didn't look nice. It didn't look like complete. It looked sloppy, and no, regardless of what you did to fix it, it just did not look right. So I started that one, and then I ended up bagging up the beads and all the tools for that kit, and I just donated that kit too. But I mean, both of those only cost me $5 each, which is really a smoking deal. So now I'm started on a new piece, which has a lot of really bright colors, and I got off of Amazon, and I think it was on clearance for $5. So, that's a good deal. And so I'm doing that one for my kitchen. And then I got one very similar to it. It's a skull. It's a skull lady. So one is like they're both drinking coffee, which is really cool because, I drink coffee all the time. So that I started this weekend, and I did a crochet project in my air conditioning, and it's really cool because, again, my apartment is in the shade, so I'm blessed to have such great cool temperature in there during this hot heat wave. And I've also got little cherry tomatoes on my plant that is developed. Oh, and oh my gosh, I have had an issue with flies, and And actually, for some reason here in Tucson, I don't know what the story is, but there's apparently this situation where due to season or temperature or the spike of the heat, grasshoppers have come out. And grasshoppers are everywhere. Not the locusts, the ones that terrify me, but just regular grasshoppers. And so I think because of that, and possibly the flies are kind of in the same situation. So I went into the other room, the studio Star Wars room, and sure enough, in the window was like 20 flies. It was so terribly gross. And I murdered them. And then I've been watching my bedroom, and I did order succulents from a place online, and I don't know, maybe they came with baby flies or something. It's so gross. So I've been battling that. But I'll have to show you my new little plants. They're